Well, tomorrow all being well, we'll be nipping out to a breakfast meeting. Well, tomorrow all being well, we'll be nipping out to a breakfast meeting at a cafe. So the Anglia hasn't been out for a little while, so I thought I'd just give it a check over, and we'll probably try and take that if the weather's okay. If it's tipping down, then maybe not, but as long as it's dryish, then it won't come to too much harm. One of the rear tyres looks like it needs a bit of air. I'll check the oil and just give it a quick look round, because it hasn't been out for, like I say, it's not been outside for 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, so you just have to check these things over and just make sure everything's tickety-boo. It's all fairly organised in here, fairly clean and tidy. A few nice little period props in here now. And the old wood binds. This is an old Ford tax disc holder, which doesn't stick in the screen very well anymore. But it's a really nice old thing. The Aldgate and City Motors, Commercial Road, London, East 1. Very nice little thing. Got a few period RAC books and AA books. There's a handbook there, called handbooks. The old matches. Old first aid case over there. A few bulb boxes. Just this kind of bits of paraphernalia that you'd probably find in a car like this back in the 1950s. This is a recent addition. This is a Bakelite windscreen demister. It's not wired in yet. There's a little on-off button there, and that would have just wafted a little warmth in the general vicinity of the screen and help it clear on a damp, wintry or autumnal morning, which is probably quite useful at this time of year. Right, let's go and check the tyre pressures. I forget which of these tyre pressure gauges I talked about in the previous video. Let me just put this little cap somewhere safe. I think this is the one I had before, which is the India non-skid tyres, and I think this is the one that was loose, which we tried, the Kismet gauge. Service model. These are all more of like a commercial garage or commercial vehicle. You can see that one there. You can either push it on like that, or because you can do it on the back here, you can get at the inner wheels on a commercial lorry where they've got 2 sets of wheels. You can get through to the rear one and you sort of come at it from the other angle like that. And this one turned up in an antique centre a little earlier this year. And again, this is a commercial, like a garage type one. This is the Schrader service tyre gauge. Very nice thing. We've not tried this one, I don't think. I might be wrong, but we can always try it again. So let's see if it actually works or not. No. It could be, but this is jammed in here. So that probably needs a bit of TLC. Let's go back to this one. This one's actually got a filter in it as well. See if this one works. Yes. So according to that, we've got about 22, 24, about 25 psi. So we need to whiz a little bit more in there, I think. Let's put those to one side. I've dug out Old Faithful, the Dunlop Standard, probably from the 1920s, so we'll whiz a little bit there in that, and we'll just check it again, check the others, and then check the engine oil. No. Oh, well, that's the Anglia back inside now. It's all checked over. All seems to be looking pretty much tickety-boo, so all being well, we'll have a successful little voyage out tomorrow to one, maybe two of the classic car gatherings that are taking place tomorrow. I guess people are trying to cram them in towards the end of the year before the weather turns for the worse, so the weather's looking a bit mixed for tomorrow, but as long as it's not too bad, we'll head out in this and see what else turns up. Right, well, it's Sunday morning and the Anglia's out and we've got all the bits and bobs loaded in the car, so we're just going to head off now to this breakfast meeting and we're just going to see what other cars turn up. The weather's looking a little bit dubious, but we'll just have to take a chance. I don't normally take this out if there's guaranteed rain, but one off won't hurt it. So let's go and see what other cars turn up today. Oh, we've made it to the breakfast meet, so we'll have a look, see what's going to turn up. Seems to be a mix of supercars here already. Well, let's have a look, see what older vehicle is going to turn up. Bevy of TVRs. This is a January 1946 MGTC. It went over to America when it was new and was repatriated in more recent times. Apparently one of the signs of a car that did go to the States originally is you've got a Union Jack on one side of the bonnet, and I'm told on this side there'll be a Stars and Stripes, and there it is. It's a very bonny little car indeed. Are you behaving? Thanks to the organisers for letting me do this particular video. We're at the Parkview Cafe, which is near Combermere Abbey, which is on the more or less on the border of Cheshire and Shropshire. They're hoping that this is going to be a fairly regular classic car meet. I think this is the 4th of the year so far. So, yeah, this is where we are. Quite a few Porsches here already. This fantastic early 911 Carrera. Another 911 of the early 1980s. This is a left-hand drive car. And a distant relative, a 6-volt VW Beetle. This is in very nice condition, left-hand drive, very smart interior. There's a Beetle's engine, that's the original unit. This is a 1959 car and totally original. It spent its early years in Sweden and then it came over here after Sweden, did it? Yeah. Yeah. And this is the original paint, which is just incredible. You see so many Beetles that have been modified and hot rodded and lowered and cal looked and all this sort of thing, but to see one that's not been got at and is as original as it possibly could be is really quite a treat. That is the original 1959 paint. Oh, I've got some modern projectiles here. Don't know what that is at the end. Lotus, McLaren. But here we've got a fantastic BRG TR4. Looks very purposeful on these chunky mini lights. Extra lamps. Goodwood Road Racing Club stickers in it. Period rally seats and straps. We've got a gaggle of extra badges on the front of this. Let's have a quick look. We've got the Goodwood Road Racing Club, that one. The Automobile Club de l'Ouest, that's the organising group around at Le Mans. Got a TR register badge there. And this one, ORMA member, this is to do with BRM in the 1950s. This was like a supporters group for the BRM racing team. ORMA, I'm guessing is Owen Racing Motors something association probably. No, that's a beautiful little Triumph, that is. Very smart helmet in. This is one we saw driving in before. Grubby faded old Anglia. An Escort 1600 Sport. Distant cousins, of course. Very smart little Lotus Elan. There's a TR4A. The VW. In fact, there's a pair of classic Beetles there now. That's a familiar looking face. Let's see what else we've got. Got a 1985 Capri Laser here. Very smartly turned out example. There's that 1965 E-Type we saw pulling in before. FAW, that's a Shropshire registration. Here's the lineup of Blackpool's finest, various TVRs. I think that's a Griffith, a Chimera. I know there are different flavours of Chimera, 400s and 450s, etc. Another one. On the end here we've got, I think this is a TR4A that came in 1966, going off the D registration. Another one on mini lights, and this has got the Surrey roof. So it's basically a hard top, but you can lift out this top section and stow that probably behind the seat, I guess. So it gives you kind of the best of both worlds. You've got a hard top for when the weather's a little English, and you can whiz the centre panel out when you want a bit of soft top motoring. You can pop it back on again and you've got a fixed roof, which is a bit more secure for parking. So yeah, that's a lovely car. Yes, TR4A. So that's got the independent rear suspension on it. You can tell a 4 and a 4A apart because the 4A has this strip down here with the indicator on there, whereas on the TR4, like the BRG one that's parked over there, that's all smooth, there's no lamp on the side of the wing. There's the Elan that came in before. This is a fixed head. Some of them are convertible, but this is a fixed head. You've got the vents there behind the door. Really sweet little car that is. I do like the knock-on wheels as well. I can just feel a spot of rain in the air. You don't see those every day either. One of the 800 series Rovers. Really nice Mark 1 Sprite. Really nice little Porsche Speedster replica. Really well turned out. So there's that TR3A that we just saw pulling in. The old Lucas Square 8 fog lamps on the front.
Get in there quick. Now go quick. We haven't done as much today because...
Closer look at the VWs. Got a smart late example in metallic green. Slightly lowered slopey headlight 6-volter, originally anyway.
Some of them are still surviving,
Next to the VWs we've got this fantastic XK140 fixed head coupe. What a beautiful car this is. If you like your Jaguar XKs, check out the video I did earlier this year where I helped a friend of mine go and retrieve a very barn-findy XK120 that he bought, which originally was spent its life in America. So check that out if you like your XKs. Talking of Jaguars, we've got a 72, 73 XJ Series 1 4.2.
He said larger.
There's that Series 1 XJ. It's a manual, no less, manual overdrive. I do like these a lot. This is very similar colour to the XJ12 that I had many years ago.
Bolt crash down the M56, in one.
If you check out my lad's car traction channel, you'll see a potted history of the classic XJs, the Series 1s, the Series 2s and Series 3s. So have a look at car traction, all one word, and you'll see what he has to say about these fantastic classic British saloons.
Subscribe.
An MGA Roadster. Hiding over here, we've got one of the S Series TVRs. Very smart little cars. And they were V6 powered. Another TVR, this is a 400 SE. If the seats are anything to go by, this looks like it's used for a bit of clubby rallying. Got bucket seats, no rear seat, a cage, bonnet pins. These Renault 21s don't turn up all that often nowadays. It's one of those sort of cars where at one time they were everywhere, a bit like Montegos and Cavaliers and things like that, and then suddenly they've all disappeared. So this is a very rare survivor. We've got a couple of the MGFs, or maybe the later TFs, I'm not quite sure. There's that frog eye that we saw pulling in before. Nice 911 Targa. Well, I think that wraps up our little visit to this breakfast meeting down at the cafe at the Combermere Abbey, or just adjoining Combermere Abbey. So please check out some of the other videos. We've got a few car show videos still to go to add to the website and the YouTube channel, so please check those out. If you haven't given this video a like or subscribed to the channel, please do so, and more videos along very, very soon. Bye for now.
Cheers.